Hi, this is Jack Stanley,
And I'm Wyatt Marcus.
and we are going to talk a little bit about how Wyatt got started in the whole idea of collecting.
The idea of collecting.
Yeah.
The idea of collecting. For some people, there are clinical studies about collecting, and some people, like wives and family members, might say it's hoarding, but we don't really believe in the word hoarding.
No, not exactly.
No. How I got this is a question that I'm asked a lot of the time. And matter of fact, today I told someone that I'm going to reduce it down to 50 seconds, but I will expand on this a little bit. Many, many years ago, my grandmother passed away. And like most families, there is an inheritance. In my case, I inherited a huge box of records. And the one record on the top was a 12-inch Victor record of Harry Lauder. Don't laugh.
I'm sorry.
Because that's the first record that I played. And I played it on her 1949 Magnavox, and it was lacking a certain soul. And I remembered that a friend of mine that I went to school with, Scott, he had a Victrola in his family. And I called Scott immediately and said, "You still have that Victrola?" It was in his basement. The family was going to move. I went and looked at it. This is the first experience with pot metal. The tone arm, I touched the tone arm and the tone arm bracket broke. So now they said, now you have to buy it because it's broken. And I did. And I brought it home and I started tinkering with it. And I have a mechanical engineering background. And I started to find out just how wonderful and simple, the wonder of the simplicity of these devices. And now I'm playing the records on there, and with a mechanical device playing back these records, you hear much more than what you would hear playing them back with a modern turntable. And I found out later, I tend to birdwalk a little bit, that the recording curve, the RIAA curve that they developed in the 40s, they didn't have that, in the 20s or in the teens. So now I'm fixing it, and now I'm buying parts, and now I'm putting ads in the paper, wanted wind-up phonographs. And here we are over 20 years later, and I'm in it up to here.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, as I always say, as the disease progresses. It's kind of we start very simple.
Yes.
And then we just start expanding it, and then we reach a point where we've reached saturation.
Yeah.
And then you start reversing.
No, you buy more real estate and you put your records and machines into a second house or a third house,
okay,
which I've seen, and it's incredible. Some people here that are fellow record collectors, they've pioneered collecting in the respects of creating paths between the machines so you can get from the bathroom to the living room. And it's standardized at 19 inches, the paths. That's the standard width.
I have to remember that. Okay.
So,
but how many machines do you have now?
Right now, if you asked me that 15 years ago, it was probably close to 45 machines. Now I think I've got it down to about 5. Because of the space that these take up, and I was really big into Edison diamond disc machines.
Mm-hmm.
I had 6 Edison laboratory models, one at the end of the hallway, one in the kitchen, one in the living room, and they all had a record queued and ready to play, so all I had to do was walk by. Now it's down to 5.
Okay.
We have an electric Edison cylinder player, and my favorite Edison home, which is the banner lid home, and my favorite Edison standard, which is the lowly Model B, which is the most universal standard. You can do anything with a Model B standard.
That's true.
I work on orthophonic machines, but I don't own one anymore. I have a strange horn that I've built for rebuilding and testing them. And what is that, 3 machines? And what's left? I have an electric machine for playing back my early acoustic records, because I don't play Berliners back on anything. And then it's not an extraordinary collection now that I'm thinking about it.
But I think there's an interesting thing that I have found.
It's more utilitarian than anything else.
But I think you have machine people, you have record people.
Yeah.
And sometimes
I'm more of a
both.
record guy.
Yeah, ditto, same here.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that when we start in that hobby, I think we just hoard, get as much as we can. We grab everything we can.
Oh, in the beginning, if I saw a Victrola 11, I would buy it.
Oh, yeah.
I would buy it because I'd never seen one before. And I didn't have the Victor data book. I didn't have any of the internet resources that we have today to find out, for example, one day I was at work and someone called me from my ad in the newspaper. They said, I have a Victrola 18. I turned to my boss and said, I'm leaving. I need to go now. I'm leaving now. And then I saw this thing, something that anyone else wouldn't give a second look to. And I saw a glow around it with little tiny cupids, seraphim, is that the word? Flitting around it. And I said, oh, it's mahogany 18. And for those of you that are collectors, you'll understand this. You open the record doors and it's like the original albums with the pull rings. And then the money just mysteriously elevated and floated through the air into their hand. And I'm glad I bought that machine at the time. It was it was a good machine.
Those are wonderful machines.
High class.
Now, there's an interesting thing about what you do in this whole industry, because you've become a master.
I don't know if master is the right word.
Well, I think I would be willing to say that in your field.
I think at this point you could say that I have a little bit. Everyone has a scintilla of respect for me.
Yeah, indeed.
A tiny bit.
I have a great deal. I'm kind of amazed by what you've done, and it's incredible.
It amazes me. I tune pianos for one, so I have the ear. And for those of you that don't know what a reproducer is, let's call it the needle head that holds the steel needle or the sapphire, and that's what tracks the record to create the sound. It's a mechanical transducer, is what it is. And I'm obsessed with physics. I'm obsessed with kinematics, wave propagation, how sound moves and is created, something called surface velocity. I'm obsessed with all of that stuff. And I've repaired, I tell everyone that I've repaired everything because I literally have. And I'm obsessed with it. And I like a challenge. I like it when someone brings me something that no one else could fix, and I'm able to machine the parts and make it work again.
It's a phenomenal thing.
It's a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
It is.
Indeed.
That I'm getting paid for.
Now, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Are your kids interested in it?
No. Yeah. They are my test. The kids are my test machine.
Okay.
I have them wind up the machines and play the records over and over again to make sure that my motor repairs or the reproducer repairs will hold up.
Okay.
And back when I did mechanical organs, organ, monkey organs, I would have them crank the paper roll and make sure that the bellows and everything else would work.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And no interest. I actually tell them when they see me working on a machine, I'm like, go to college. Don't end up stripping shellac and doing wood grain repair. You don't want to do this. You want to have, an exciting life. And for me, it's exciting, but
sure.
But I've met a lot of young people that are like, ooh, they see one and they hear it for the first time, and you can see in their eyes that the bug has bitten, and they're in it for life.
Yeah.
And did you say that we're at the phonograph show today?
I haven't yet.
Okay. We're at the Wayne phonograph show, and there are a lot of young people here today, hounding for records, and it's nice to see. And I've met several people today that are asking me technical questions about machines, and it is a pleasure and a delight to be able to share my passion for the hobby with them. And for them, you can see it in their eyes. They're in awe of the people that are here and the information that's available today. 15 years ago, we didn't have the books that we have now.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's wonderful to see the young folks and teach them what we know.
Yeah.
Because we go through the people that I learned from. The people that you learn from.
Yeah.
They're gone now, and so we carry on things.
Enthusiasm's infectious.
Yes, it is. And thank good.
Yeah.
There's an old saying: enthusiasm can turn one man into an army, and I always like that.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
So,
but
I'm glad to see you're in the industry. I'm glad to see you do what you do.
Thank you.
I'm glad to see you do what you do, and I'm really glad that you're joining me here to sit and talk about
this
stuff.
I'm glad we found a quiet area here.
Just a few cars going by. We're sitting out here. It's a nice day. It's not bad in October.
Yeah.
And thank you.
There you have it. And thank you for your videos. I appreciate them very much.
Okay,
Very
thank you so much.
I like learning.
Yeah, well, ditto.
Learning
It's
something
very
new
important.
all the time.
It's good for you to learn too.
Yes.
Okay.
Subscribe to this man's channel if you just found him.
Ditto. Ditto.
Oh, there's nothing on mine but a bunch of old dusty machines making squawky noises through horns. You don't want to watch those videos. Okay. Or me talking about physics. No one wants to watch those videos.
Well, I do.
I'm crazy.
I enjoy it.
So,
Well, thank you so much.
thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
And I'm going to hit the button now.
Okay, here we go.
Ready? Here
1,
we
2,
go.
3. Goodbye.
Bye.